I have come full circle. In other words, I have ended up in exactly the same place I started over 20 years ago. This is the nature of circles. Coming full circle gives me the perspective to tell a really good story, a come sit on my knee kind of story, the kind of story that can make a difference. Making a difference. To have a significant effect on a person or situation, to be important in some way, to influence, prevail over, impress, a ripple effect that can actually impact thousands over generations, or not. I have told many versions of this story over 20 years of running a nonprofit community arts organization in what I like to call the extreme rural. First is the story you tell to secure funding for your projects, the scope of which must get broader and deeper each time you tell it, all while floating on a sea of hyphenation and slashes in order to utilize your ridiculously limited word count. Artist-led, community-centered, multidisciplinary, geographically isolated, ever-broadening, multi-phased. No way in hell this can be done on this timeline, but here we go. Then there is the please participate in our programs, events, workshops, classes story. You must convince your community how great the arts are in their lives. Enthusiasm is your main tool with an emphasis always on fun and fabulous. Then there's the story to convince your community to come and see your show or event, even pay for the privilege. The secret here? Always offer free wine, which turns it into a social event, a party. Few can resist a party with free wine. There's also the story you learn to tell at professional leadership development workshops designed to make you sound better. Strategic roadmaps, SMART goals, vision statements that never quite translates to the real story. And then there's the story I tell myself to keep going because I am making a difference. This story is a fool's errand, the one most likely to eclipse the real story. The real story, the true story, is larger than all of these versions. It contradicts, it contains multitudes. The real story, for example, contains the epic failure of a perfectly executed event, Love Our Waters. 8 community partners, well-funded, full-page ads in 2 big-town newspapers spanning 100 miles. Live music, exceptional art making for kids, water education, and a gorgeous summer day. I planned for 800 to 900. Barely 200 people came. Defeated and disillusioned, it instigated a mini personal breakdown and a reckoning of how I got here. How did I get so delusional? It turns out that your dreams for your community cannot be bigger than the population can contain. There is a kind of cultural inertia in rural places that can trip you up like raspberry brambles on a clear summer day. The real story also contains the epic success of a recent community performance piece that used personal photos, video, original music, recorded voices, and live performers that so captured the essence, the uniqueness, the beauty of our community and the people who live here. A performance that connected deeply with every single heart in the room, stunning them, so that when it was over, no one would get up from their seat. No one moved. That is until I offered them free wine. The true story is the hundreds of individuals being transformed by the power of the arts, all ages, all walks of life, taking a chance of a lifetime, diving in and throwing themselves into the fire, being pulled through a knothole, being uplifted out of their grief, their fear of other, their fear of change, reveling in their hearts being broken all the way open, only to find their goodness their trueness, their largeness, their oneness. The real story is the full circle, beginning with an artist who wanted to live the artist's life by moving to the rural North Woods, building her own house, and then noticing there was a community she was connected to, people who embraced her. She felt sure she could make a difference in their lives through her unshakable belief in the arts. An artist, a community, a belief. Over the years, she learned personal relationship is queen. Nothing real or true happens without it. She learned people like to help more than they like to be helped. She learned that you have to love, really love those you wish to teach, direct, change, impact, even if they are undirectable, even if they have values different than your own, even if they easily forget how much you impacted their lives, their kids' lives, the sacrifices you made, the pouring yourself out for the greater good. 25 years later, this circle is complete. To keep going would only be to repeat it. But the story doesn't end. How could it? Art will always transform. There will always be an artist, a community, a belief. Goodness will always matter. As long as there are humans on this earth, we share one heart, one story.